Hey folks, welcome back to the show. I'm Paul Gustafson and this is Healthy Hypnosis. I'm really happy to introduce today's guest, Jane Winchester. She is a friend and colleague, a hypnotherapist in Plainville, Massachusetts. In fact, Jane and I went to training together. So we've been following each other's careers now for a number of years. And we actually did a show here way back at the beginning. So now we've kind of a few years into the business and might have something different to talk about tonight.
Right. And my hand is going to be warmer.
Yes.
This is true.
Yes. Are you going to explain that now that you brought it up? Part of the situation 5 years ago was doing a session with Jane's hand immersed in ice water. And we won't have any ice water today, just
Good. Just
drinking water. So, you know, I've had a number of different hypnotherapists on, and they kind of tell their story, you know, their career track and how they got into the field, perhaps. Maybe you can enlighten the viewers a little bit about how you got into hypnosis and what your thoughts are on the field in general.
Sure. Be happy to. It's been interesting because I started listening to hypnosis tapes and self-improvement tapes, actually, probably about, 20 years ago or more. Never, of course, thinking that I'd someday be helping others using it. I was helping myself. And in the year 2000, I had been in a banking career all my life in a corporate field. And the company was acquired, and I chose that time to just move away. I knew I needed to do something on my own. And the first thing that I followed through with was reflexology. I went to school to become a reflexologist. I thought I had done a lot of reading, and I liked that and thought it would be interesting. And when I finished that, I got into the hypnotherapy. I had searched different schools, and as you know, we wound up meeting at this school with Julie Griffin, and that's where the career started. And then I added a couple other things thereafter, and all of the extras also support some of the hypnosis that I do with clients, if it's appropriate.
Sure. So you had experience with hypnosis long before you got into it.
Correct.
Yeah, I did as well. My initial foray into the field was probably 20 years ago as well, listening to self-hypnosis tapes, and then in college using hypnosis for public speaking. Had to do a big presentation.
Yeah.
So you came into hypnosis with a kind of a first-hand knowledge about the effect and have had achieved some success with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
The first thing that I benefited from with hypnosis, and I was just trying to do some self-improvement, not really using hypnosis quite how I use it for clients. I didn't use it for stopping smoking or any of that. The first thing that I learned to do was to de-stress, just to relax, because I was a very uptight person and didn't have the tools that helped me to balance stress in my life. And through that I learned by listening to tapes, how to relax.
Right.
So that was the first-hand part. Yeah.
And then, so you explain the certifications that you have in hypnosis, and maybe you're also a reflexologist. Maybe you can give us an idea of the different levels of education you've had in hypnosis and any other training that you've had.
The classes that I've taken in hypnosis, because we take ongoing classes, I have the basic clinical hypnosis. We have advanced medical, I think they call it. They may be a different term now, but at the time it was advanced medical hypnosis, metaphysical hypnosis.
Can you just say a word or two about what metaphysical is to the viewers who may not understand?
Well, for me, in a simple way to explain it would be the spiritual side of ourselves, and connecting that and making it a body-mind-spirit connection. Yeah. And for many people, it's a wonderful combination, and I use it in my own life. Some people just do the mind and body because they're just not quite ready to introduce that.
To make that spiritual connection.
Right. Even though it's there all the time and working all the time, to, actually be conscious of it.
Yeah, it can be a very moving experience, right?
Oh, and to watch it with clients,
Yeah.
to see them benefit, whether you're going into past life experiences or just to connect your body and soul together and go back and try to get to the core of
Yeah.
yourself, you know, that inner self, or previously known sometimes inner child work, all that different connection that involves the spirit.
Yeah.
It's so powerful
And it
when
can be
somebody
done,
really connects.
just to give the viewers a quick rundown, it can be as simple as going through the normal relaxation process that we do in all sessions with hypnosis, and then having previously spoken and set this up with the client ahead of time that this is what we're going to do, I don't know if this is what you do, but my approach to it is to begin the process, create the hypnotic trance, and go nice and deeply into it, and then simply do a 10 count, 10 to 1, at the count of 1. Your higher self, your spiritual essence will hopefully step forward to offer some clarity or understanding of whatever the problem might be.
Right. That is certainly one of the approaches.
And then you can you do that count and ask the client, so higher self, are you with us?
Right.
And it's amazing what you can hear, right? And
Oh,
the dialogue
absolutely. And sometimes it's it takes a little time to educate the client because they may not quite understand what this higher self is. And, well, I didn't in the beginning
I find
either.
that to be more the challenge of setting them up for the session than actually doing it.
Right.
So.
And sometimes they connect without knowing what it is. It doesn't have to have a name, really.
Right.
It's just that they connect, and then when the session is over, they'll, this experience that I had, and then it leads into follow through with more of the same if they choose, and usually it is more of the same. They choose to do more because it's such a wonderful experience.
Right. Yeah. What other classes have you taken?
Let's see here. So that was that. Well, because we always go to NGH. I also
The National Guild of Hypnotists.
Yeah, sorry for the. So
we're going to make sure they know.
that's right.
It's not just the two of us sitting down talking in our office. There's actually people watching the show.
The last class that I took, I think, was hypnobirthing. And while I haven't finished the class, I did have a couple of clients come and wanted me to work with them, and they had wonderful, wonderful experiences because it eases the birth and allows them to truly enjoy it without a lot of pain, And again, it's education. It's a 5 or 6 week class.
Right.
And so I hope to follow through with that. At the time, my daughter-in-law was pregnant. And I was just, so excited because I knew this would be wonderful. But she didn't use it. No, she wasn't.
Taking the bait, huh?
But I got a great deal of benefit from it, and so did several other people.
Yeah.
So I just haven't focused on it.
I saw a clip on television once. They're interviewing someone who worked at a birthing center.
Yes.
And one of the first things they ask the expectant mothers who come in is whether they've done hypnosis, because they can't really tell how far along these expectant mothers are because they're so relaxed.
Yes, fortunately though, my son does know how hypnosis works, and he was able to ease her with breathing in their own way.
Right.
So that was really a nice experience that he had that.
Yeah, in case anybody's out there wondering, we're not dangling the watch in front of the client's eyes and all the stereotypes that go with the process.
Right.
Before we move on to other topics, are there any other classes that you've taken?
Well, besides being a certified reflexologist, I'm also I do Reiki and ear coning, and each of those plays a part when it's appropriate to bring it into a hypnosis session. If I'm working with a particular client on a medical issue, I will teach them how to do reflexology on themselves because I no longer can do it, so I can just kind of help people with it. Unfortunately, sometimes with some of these modalities, when you use it, it's repetitious, and so my thumbs have weakened to the point where I can't do it.
Why don't you explain reflexology just a bit, because I don't think a lot of people really know what that is.
Reflexology, again, another wonderful, wonderful, relaxing, balancing technique. But it basically is a ancient technique of balancing the body by stimulating the nerve endings. All of our nerve endings end in our feet, our hands, our ears, our eyes. And most of the nerve endings are closer to the surface in the feet, and of course we have more surface to work with, so you can get a lot of benefit from doing it on the feet. When I teach people to do it to support their hypnosis, I teach them on their hand because they can do it anywhere,
Sure.
because the nerve endings are there too. But what it does is it sends a message right up to the brain through the spinal column and right out to the organ that it represents, because our whole body is mirrored on our hands, the nerves, and on our feet.
Fascinating.
It's fascinating.
So
Our
you
body
say-
is such a wonderful.
I know.
Oh, I just love talking about it too.
And I think as we see more and more in the mainstream media, it's
Right.
starting to break through.
Yes.
A quick question. You said that you support your clients to use reflexology to enhance their hypnosis. Are they
Well-
doing this while they're listening to sessions at home? Is that?
No, it doesn't quite work like that. So for instance, if someone came in that had, let me think of an example, a medical issue such as stuttering.
Sure.
I'm working recently with a young fellow who stutters. Besides listening to the tapes, or the CDs that he takes home as reinforcement, I also did a little research to find out what areas of the body can affect stuttering. And so then I find those areas on the body or the system that may be connected with it, and then show the client how to then 2 or 3 times a day
I see.
try to balance that out. Because again, it's also another relaxation, and relaxation is going to help stuttering.
Right.
But it also is going to stimulate perhaps the gland or the nerves or anything attached with the stuttering issue.
Interesting.
So that you can use that for anything, whether it's your kidneys or headaches, any of that. You can just, work around the head and the neck and the heart, and it's fascinating. Plus, it takes their mind off of it.
Right.
You see, it just, and the thing is, I think what's great about both hypnosis and reflexology, or any of the modalities that we use to, aid our clients, is that it takes them out of the victim mode, especially with medical issues. You
So
do feel
true.
like a victim, and it gives them power back.
Right.
That they're able to take control and do something to help themselves, and that in itself helps them to feel better.
And that's as far as hypnosis goes, and I know you agree with this. That's one of the first things we teach our clients, that it's not something you're getting from us. We're giving you a tool so that you can get to the relief and create solutions on your own. And that is
Exactly.
very empowering.
It really is.
And I know that you teach self-hypnosis, as do I, and each client learns that we are just the tour guides, and when they understand that they can do this independent,
That's right.
that's a great moment.
Yes. And what's particularly exciting for me, I so enjoy working with young people.
Yeah.
When I think of what, for instance, I'm working with a young fellow who has what's called hyperhidrosis, and that is excessive sweating of his hands and feet, although it can be other areas too. His is his hands and his feet. And when you're 13 years old, you don't even think of those kind of things normally. And now he's learning how to deep breathe, how to relax, not only just for this, but these are tools he'll be able to use the rest of his life. I don't know about you, but I didn't have anything at 13 like deep breathing,
Every
and
time I sit-
relaxation.
Every
and all
time I'm
that.
sitting with a teenager, in my mind I'm saying, geez, I wish I had gotten some of
Oh,
this.
I know, me too.
I was a stressed out young guy.
As was
Yeah,
I. Well, I
yeah,
was a girl, but
yeah.
I
Sure,
stressed out. Yeah.
definitely. And kids do so well with,
Oh,
with hypnosis.
they're great subjects.
So you
Yes.
you got, it sounds like you got a well-rounded educational training in hypnosis, and you have a practice. You work out of your home in Plainville.
I do.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I have an office right in my home. It's very relaxing in the country. So
Yeah.
some people say they relax just driving out to it.
It's
So that's
beautiful.
nice.
Yeah.
You've been, yes.
Yeah.
So it was built in 1710, so it has its own wonderful energy.
It is
I think
gorgeous.
it's part of the hypnosis process.
Yeah, you just
for
need,
me.
you need to get a picture of that on your brochure, I think.
I should really, yeah. I do.
So you've been practicing out of your home, and you have you work. I guess you're in the process of putting together a website. Is that right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
And when it's up, it'll be Earthwalk.
Online.
Earthwalkonline.com. Thanks.
Right.
Yes.
I'm keeping an eye on you.
I know technology isn't as interesting to me as the
connections,
hypnosis part, but.
How are you preparing clients for sessions?
Other than talking with them on the phone or after I talk with them on the phone, I send out an application or an intake form so that they can give me a little insight into, in more depth,
Yeah.
into whether or not hypnosis is right for them. Sometimes I can tell just by reading that this might not be appropriate for them, but mostly it is.
Yeah.
And then they will come and we'll have a consultation. And usually it's listening a lot, really being a good listener and asking the right questions.
You're the one that's listening.
I'm the
Yeah.
one that's listening. I know I talk a lot, but I do listen when I have a
Yeah.
client.
Very
And
therapeutic listening, isn't it?
it's very, and sometimes when people leave and they may not have even had the first session because the consultation was so involved, I feel better already.
I know.
You see, they've taken a step and they've shared and gotten it out of themselves.
The cathartic process.
Right.
You see a client on occasion who just doesn't look like they're ready for hypnosis yet. You can tell that they're uptight, they're worried or stressed, and just continue to ask the open-ended questions and let them talk a little bit more.
Right.
I always tell myself when I was in hospice, I always used to use the approach, just in my mind, when I think it's time for me to start talking, I wait a little longer. And then sometimes when I think then it's time to start, I'll just wait one more few moments. And just in doing that, you're giving clients an extra opportunity. And when they perceive you as the person who is just there to listen, who genuinely cares, this unconditional positive regard, they call it in psychology,
Right.
people are ready for hypnosis at that point.
Right. And then you can go right into explaining. I mean, when I've mailed out the information, or perhaps they've been reading about it, they may have insight already. I think you send out a nice tape to introduce it all, or a CD that introduces it all. But when they're in the office, a follow-through with all the education to truly understand, hopefully have them understand exactly what it's all about, and so that when we're done, there's no question in their mind that it will work before they even start.
I get so much feedback from the simple intake form.
Yes.
And I hear from so many clients who tell me, I couldn't believe it when I was filling that form out. Boy, you really made me. And it's a very generic form. It's really nothing, at least from where I sit, nothing much to it. But when you're the one who's seeking help, you're the one that has spent maybe years or decades struggling with a particular problem, when you stop to think and put thoughts to paper. And
That's right.
a lot of work starts at that moment, or as you know, a lot of the work starts on the initial phone consultation.
Yes, it does. Right. Because they've made the connection. And already taking that one step is just so important for their well-being. However, it comes out, in the end, it's just them taking that step. And
I had a client who was coming for, she was actually a mentoring student. I had clients come for mentoring. And she had to drive on the highway to get to my place, to my office. And she's had difficulty driving on the highway. So I, in the course of our conversation, we spoke in a few minutes, and I like to, I have a relaxing nature with people in general and use humor a lot. And we had a nice, comfortable conversation. And I threw out a few suggestions from one of my, fear of driving sessions that I do a lot with clients. And I can't remember exactly what I told her, but she came for a couple of sessions, and she said, since you said that thing on the phone, when I first called, I don't seem to have any trouble driving. I don't remember what I said, but like I said, at the session start, on the phone, and
Yes.
you don't have to be in deep hypnotic trance to
That's right.
accept information and benefit from it, right?
Right. Well, that proves true, obviously, with television. I mean, we're not in a deep hypnotic trance, but that subconscious is taking in. They know when
Good
to
point.
do that. You know,
Social
so-
hypnosis, right?
Right.
Advertisers know all about hypnosis
And
in
they
the
sure
subconscious
do.
mind, don't
Yes. Yes.
they? You know, you stare at a television screen for a couple hours,
Mm-hmm.
you're zoned out.
Mm-hmm.
What happens then? The reason you feel zoned out is because your subconscious is a
Mm.
little bit more open and active.
Mm-hmm.
And all those unhealthy food commercials and junk food
Right,
ads and
right.
McDonald's and,
Yeah.
you know.
It's amazing how many people still connect being in hypnosis as being out.
Yeah.
It's still something to overcome when people come in the office, because many of them that come to see me are expecting that's what's going
Well,
to happen.
Explain to the viewers what people should expect then, since you brought it up.
What they
well,
should expect.
Yeah.
Well-
you mean I don't go unconscious when you hypnotize me?
Oh,
Tell
no.
me. Well, let's hear all
No.
about it.
Yes. Well, you'll certainly relax. You'll deep breathe. You might feel tingly. You might feel numb. You might feel heavy. All of the above could or might not happen to you, but it's the kind of the common things. You might feel your eyes blink a little bit. I'll know because I'll see the pulse in your neck. Sometimes color changes too, things that the client can't see.
Right.
But certainly they'll be relaxed and actually be more aware, which is a hard concept for people to, even when they experience it, it's amazing because but I was aware of everything, but my body was so relaxed. It doesn't go together.
Right.
You know?
The combination of two opposites.
Yes.
Deep physical relaxation and heightened awareness. Right?
Right. Because they think they're going to be out
Yeah.
cold. And of course that's not true. And they really get to enjoy the benefit of it.
In my work, and I'm sure you do this too, I will actually, in the course of the session, help them to create that separation. Now your body can relax as much as it ever could. We don't need it for now, but your thoughts, of course, will stay focused on the words, the wonderful images that you create, and of course, your dramatic success. So then with each successive visit, we'll lock their thoughts more and more onto the theme, the
Yes.
goal. It's a very strange combination.
It is a strange
The body can
combination.
relax to the point, and I'll say
not-
this, imagine now that your body relaxes so much, you have no awareness of it at all. In fact, it seems to you right now that all that there is about you are your thoughts, and like you have no physical.
Oh, no, wait a minute, no.
That's not. That's the later
Oh.
on. Yeah. So it's an interesting thing because we'll see many clients with the same problem a lot of times,
Oh,
smoking
yes.
and weight loss, and
Right.
but to see how each individual responds and uses the information, how they integrate it in the journey that they have.
Yes.
I sit back and it's always new every time for me as I watch and observe and
Yes.
learn,
Yes.
from clients how they could most benefit from how things are phrased and
Right.
how to put people at ease.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also give a lot of handouts with my sessions to coordinate
I see.
some education. One of them are the deep breathing. Even though, we use it, or I do anyway, I use it right from the very get-go to begin
part of the
relaxation.
induction. Yeah,
I
me
also
too.
give them a handout on exactly how to do it and to practice so that it can become such a part of their thought process and their response to stress
Yeah.
that it's a tool they have the rest of their life.
Yeah.
The same with negative words to look for that
Right.
sabotage success,
Right.
so that they can pay attention. Is it something that they're using, and don't realize it is something that they're thinking
Right.
and not using.
I find that with a series of sessions, and we normally see clients for at least a couple. The one thing I notice with everybody is the level of mindfulness blossoms, and they start think. Of course, they're thinking about their specific goals, but when when you give them a tool like you just described, as to how they can relax themselves and focus they begin to consider everything.
Yes.
All that they do in day-to-day life begins to receive more attention.
Right.
You know, everything's connected. It's certainly everything that we take into our body has an effect on us, and people who come for weight loss are doing the double take. And I hear that from so many people. I was going to do this, but then I just stopped and thought. And one of my first questions is, so is that different? Is that different from you? Is that unusual for you?
Yes.
And it's a wonderful tool to help people stop.
Right.
And not only to relax, but certainly to learn how to do it productively.
Right.
Right.
And so they learn consciously, and that it becomes part of their subconscious mind.
So you're
through
sending.
the
Now, you
practice.
recording. Are you recording all your sessions live with your clients? You
Yes,
do? Yeah.
I do.
So they go home with every word that's said during the session. They get to take home with them.
Yes, that's right.
That's nice.
And it's a wonderful way for them to relax. And I hopefully they hear the fact that this is their half hour, a gift to themselves to just relax and enjoy.
Yeah.
You know, a
Yeah.
gift. And it's time to do that for yourself. We deserve to do that.
Yeah, and it's also an integral part of establishing the long-term success with whatever they want to fix.
Exactly.
I mean, they come in having repeated the unhealthy pattern for decades.
Right.
I always say, let them know right up front, you have a responsibility here.
Yeah.
You've been repeating that crap for all this time, so we're not reinventing the wheel here. Let's just start repeating better stuff.
Right.
So I tell them once a day, press play.
That's a good way to put it.
So,
That's
yeah.
a cute way, yeah.
Yeah, repetition, right?
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
exactly.
You know.
And the more they listen, the better they get, the faster they go into hypnosis. And,
Yeah.
and they can use their self-hypnosis anytime they
Anytime.
need it.
Anytime, anywhere.
Right.
Yeah. Well, can you believe that our 30 minutes is just about up?
No.
Goes by like
And just like hypnosis.
just like hypnosis, yeah.
You know, we'll ask a client how long they've been in hypnosis. They'll say 10 minutes, and it's been 30 minutes. Amazing.
So we're going to have you back, and we're going to do another show. Maybe we can talk about some of the applications of hypnosis
Oh,
into more
great. That'd be
detail.
terrific. Yes.
Terrific.
It's great fun. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you for coming on.
Oh, thank you, Paul.
Well, that's our show, folks. You've been watching Healthy Hypnosis. I'm Paul Gustafson, and I look forward to having you back next time. Thanks.